Welcome to the JS Self-Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, a weekly conversation about self-care, personal development, and all the small decisions we can make to become the best possible versions of ourselves. I am your host, Janelle. I am a social worker, a self-care life coach, and an advocate for the effects of parental substance abuse. I am based out of New York. For more information, visit my website at jsselfcare.org. I want to welcome my new listeners, and I also want to welcome my returning listeners. If you can please share this episode, because there's someone in this world who needs to listen to this particular episode. I also want to personally thank you for making the JS Self-Care Mind, Body, and Soul podcast part of your weekly routine. I truly, truly appreciate you. This week, we're continuing our series on life lessons. There's a million life lessons that we need to learn, and I'm using my podcast platform to teach you some life lessons. You may say to yourself, I already know that lesson. I learned it really well. Or this one I could use. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode on life lessons. Some people think that what happens in their lives is out of their control. I beg to differ. I feel that some of the things that happen in our lives can be controlled. The reason I feel this way is because, for one, we have the power to say no. We have the power to stop the people-pleasing behavior. And we also have the power to learn from the lessons we learn instead of doing the same thing and expecting a different result each time. Don't be glutton for punishment. The folks who think what happens beyond their control wait passively for what life dishes out to them. They may have minimum goals, and they are the ones who usually hope for the best, that life will be kind to them and that they will eventually be at the right place and at the right time. While other people, meanwhile, realize that life is a great opportunity for growing, learning, and evolving, and for realizing their full potentials. These people proactively try to understand how the world works. They set goals and learn all they can as they set out in the direction of their dreams. People who believe that they have control over their lives attain success because they pay attention to the lessons that life teaches them. Some of these lessons are learned the hard way. However, by learning to cope with the challenges, one can come out of the experiences wiser and stronger, more able to face whatever else lies ahead. First life lesson is learn to play well with others. In the sandbox of life, it's important to know how to get along well with others. It does not mean that you don't say no when you want to or you have to. It means pitching in and giving the team a helping hand when it's called for. Say no when you need to, but also be a team player when it comes to your peers. And what that means is learn to play well with your peers. If you're in the right circle, meaning that circle of friends that you're in have similar mindsets, then you'll learn to play well with them and support those friends. But learn to play well in the sandbox of life. I've said this life lesson a bunch of times on my podcast, but that word comfort zone, right? Move out of your comfort zone. We cannot always be comfortable. We got to be uncomfortable so that we could get comfortable. Sometimes the most uncomfortable and/or experiences that you'll go through helps you grow as a person. Being uncomfortable helps you grow. It teaches you. You are learning something new every day, right? Remember this one, only when you stop letting fears and anxiety hold you back will you start to make major breakthroughs in your life. Stop settling in for comfortability. Get uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable feels amazing. We got to get out of those comfort states, because when we stay in them, we stay stuck. And we're talking about growth and involvement. And with self-care, what my goal is to push you towards growth and evolvement, but daily growth and evolvement, meaning who you were yesterday is not who you are today and who you're going to be tomorrow. So move out of your comfort zone. It's okay. Our next life lesson is practice good self-care habits. My goal as a self-care life coach is to get rid of the glitz and glamour of self-care. Disclaimer, I am not bashing what we were taught was self-care, and that was go get your hair done or get your nails done, go to the barber shop, get a massage. And when you come back, you'll feel great. Well, all of that is great and all, and getting your hair or getting your nails done is self-maintenance, and going to get a massage is self-soothing. When I say life lesson is creating good self-care habits, meaning take care of your mental health. Make sure you feel good on the inside. Make sure your soul is taken care of. Stop doing things that doesn't sit right with your soul. Develop self-caring habits. Caring for yourself is not self-indulgent, but a necessary action for you to remain in good health, both physically and mentally. With all the negativity, stress, and trials and tribulations we encounter daily, you must give yourself time to recharge. Practice and implement good self-care habits. The next life lesson is sometimes you will not be okay, and that's absolutely okay. Sorry for the yell, but it is absolutely okay to not be okay. Sometimes we feel great and sometimes we're not okay. No matter how much we want to be strong, there will be times when the challenges in our lives are just a bit too much. Be compassionate with yourself. It is okay to be down every now and then. Feel what you need to feel. Just don't stay in that place of not being okay. If you do feel as if you're not okay for long periods of time, please reach out to myself or someone you can talk to. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay stuck in the space of not being okay. Feel those feelings, but don't stay in those feelings. You got to grow and evolve daily. Our next life lesson is never stop learning. I don't care where you're at in life, who you're with in life. Never, ever, ever, ever stop learning. Daily learning helps you grow and evolve daily. You are never too old to stop learning. I am a huge, huge advocate of daily self-growth. Commit to daily self-growth. Just remember, learning doesn't stop after you graduate high school or college. Learning never stops. Don't ever stop being interested to learn something new or to enhance a skill you have. Sometimes we have these amazing skills, but we're like, I don't want to do the research on it. I'm not going to do it. You have the skill, learn about it. Don't we have Google University and YouTube University? I always say they're raising our children, but go into research. Learn something new. Even if you wanted to learn how to lock your hair, you could Google it, you could YouTube it and learn it yourself. You don't always got to outsource your fundings. You could do it yourself and save thousands and thousands of dollars. There's a lot of do-it-yourself programs out there. Never, ever stop learning. Our next life lesson is be aware of access. Sometimes we don't have to have too much. Sometimes less is always better. We need to stop focusing so much on quantity and start focusing on quality. Do you notice people that have like 1 million friends and they don't trust others or anything? They just in a space. They just have access of friends. And then do you notice these people that have a small circle and each person in their circle correlates with one another, right? Do you ever notice that? Because sometimes more is a headache. Less is better. Less of a headache. Always look when you're in your circle or you're around people. Don't look so much into the quantity of how much you have. Look more into the quality of what you have. Be aware of access. Having more is not always great. Sometimes it is. Having an abundance is great. But sometimes it's way too much. So be aware of that access part that's in your life, because we all have different lives. But I want you to look into your life and say, there's an abundance of this here, but there's no quality here. There's very little over here, very little in numbers, but the quality is really good. So be aware. Our last life lesson for this week is you will not always get what you wish for. I know some of us ask for things and wonder why the universe did not give me those things. Sometimes we get exactly what we need and not so much of what we want. You will always be given what you need at the right moment. Sometimes you don't even realize that we needed what we received, whether that's a life lesson, a material thing, or even an animal, a dog we always wanted. Learn to appreciate what we have and stop wanting what others have. We got to stop that. What is for you will always be for you, no matter what life throws at us. We got to stop wanting so much of the materialistic things or the friendships and love ships that everyone else have, because you don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. And sometimes you didn't get that materialistic stuff because you could have lost it or something. You will always get what the universe feels you need to have. Sometimes step back and say, I didn't get it because it was not meant for me. What is meant for you, trust when I tell you. Whatever life throws at you, what is meant for you will be for you. What is meant for others will be for others. You got to learn that your blessings are not everybody else's blessings. And everybody else's blessings are not your blessings. Just remember this last one. You will not always get what you wish for. Life is complex, profound, and full of surprises and challenges. When these come rapidly, life is frequently hard, often confusing, and sometimes outright deceptive. And as they say, life isn't fair, or at least not one to distribute to gifts equally. Some people find and achieve their dreams with relative ease. Others struggle long and hard. Some never make it at all. However, contrary to popular belief, not making it is really due to bad breaks, even if one is born homeless and despised. Usually, lack of success is due to responding poorly to life's requirements. Life is full of important lessons, and the earlier they're learned, the better. The sooner a person gets acquainted with what real life is about, the challenges and opportunities, the unique slots everyone feels, the dangers of entitlement and self-pity, the sooner he or she learns to handle the challenges. Take the initiative to find his or her slot and head off wrong habits before they develop. And the more time there is to accomplish the maximum good. Life is not easy. And that is why I'm so focused on weekly life lessons, because I'm learning them. And as I'm learning them, I'm like, dang, let me put this out on the podcast. Learn these life lessons. Don't be glutton for punishment, because sometimes we do things and do it and do it and do it and expect a different result, especially when it comes from other people. Stop expecting different results. Accept people for who they are. Learn these life lessons. I hope at least one of these life lessons resonated with you. While I hope you love listening to and learning from this podcast, it is not meant to be a substitute for mental health treatment. For those of you who are ready to get started by talking to a self-care life coach who can answer all of your questions about self-care, I want you to schedule a free consultation at jsselfcare.org. If mental health treatment is needed, please don't hesitate to contact a therapist in your area. Self-care is important and necessary. Take care of you and continue to put you first no matter what. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and share. For daily doses of self-care affirmations and notes to self, make sure you join the JS Self-Care social media drive. On most social media platforms, social media links will be placed in this week's podcast show notes.